Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you this week about doing the shoulder saddles. I know in the video Bristol mentioned it's kind of like wrestling an octopus, which was the case for me, and unfortunately I lost. So I'm going to show you how I ended up doing it. It's a little bit simpler, and it involves using fewer needles. So to do this, I have my left front. I've already done the saddle on my right side, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But on the left front and back, lay your sweater out with the insides together. We're going to be working the saddle from the neck edge to the sleeve edge. And the first thing you're going to do is take your lace needle, the smaller size that you worked on with your lace, and we're going to go ahead and pick up the stitches for the left front and the back, starting at the sleeve edge and working our way towards the neck. So I'll have one needle point here on these stitches, and then one needle point coming out here at the back stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and start slipping those stitches on onto my lace needle. And once I get that all set up, we will come back and talk about how we're going to cast on the stitches for our saddle. All right, so now I've got all of my stitches on to my lace needle. I've got one of the needles is coming through my back stitches, one is coming through the right, and then I have the extra loop here at the underarm split, so it's keeping those stitches separate. So we're ready to cast on the stitches for the shoulder saddle. And you actually don't need another needle for this either. We can just cast straight onto the needle we have here. With the left saddle, since the first row we work, we're joining the last stitch to the left back, we're going to cast our saddle stitches onto the left needle so that we're ready to work a right side row and then connect with that first back stitch. If you're doing the right saddle, you'll actually cast on to the needle that's coming out of the right front, because the instructions for the right saddle have you joining to the right front first. All right, so I'm going to grab my yarn for the shoulder saddle. I'm using contrasting yarn here because I've been knitting all of my lace in a contrast color, but you'll use whichever yarn you're using for your sweater. So we're going to cast on 22 stitches for the saddle, and we're just going to start putting those stitches, casting right on to the needle coming out of our back stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so now we've got 22 stitches cast on the same needle that our back stitches are on, and now we're just going to kind of rotate everything so that we're ready to work across a right side row for row 1 of our saddle. And I'm just going to pull out the needle that has my left front stitches on it, and they'll just stay on the cable. We don't need to worry about those for right now. And then make sure you're working with not your tail, and we'll start working across. So the first row starts with a knit 1 stitch. And this is our selvage edge. This is what we're going to join with the left front when we come back on the other side. It's not part of the lace pattern, so we'll knit 1, and then we'll start those 4 edge stitches of the lace chart. So we're going to purl 1, purl 2, not split my yarn. I'm going to yarn over, SSK, knit 2 together, yarn over, purl 1, purl 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 2 together, yarn over, purl 1, purl 2, yarn over, SSK. And now we have 5 stitches left here. So these are the 4 that are at the end of our lace repeat, and then our 1 selvage stitch that we're going to work together with our back stitches that are held here. So we're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, purl 1, purl 2, and now we're going to do an SSK with this last stitch of our saddle and the first stitch of our back stitches. So I'm going to slip as if to knit, slip this one as if to knit, and then knit these two together through the back loops. So we've joined the saddle to our back stitches. Now we're going to turn and make sure you're keeping this yarn in the front, and we're going to slip this first stitch. This isn't part of our lace pattern, this is our joining stitch. So we're going to slip it here purlwise, and then we're going to work across row 2 of our flat lace chart. So we'll knit 2, purl 1. Oops, I've got that kind of split. Let me fix that stitch. 2, 3, 4, knit 2, purl 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 1, knit 2, purl 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 1, knit 2, and now we have that first knit stitch that we need to join with our left front. So scooch your left front stitches back up onto your needle, bring your yarn to the front, and we're going to purl this last stitch and the first stitch of your left front together. So purl those together. Now we're going to turn our work again. We're going to start row 3. Now leaving your yarn in the back, you're going to slip this first stitch purlwise. Bring your yarn to the front, and then you're going to start your lace pattern again. You'll purl 2, knit 2 together, double yarn over, and you're going to work this all the way across, joining at each side. You might find it helpful. It's really obvious for me when I'm at my back stitches and my left front stitches because they're a different color. But if your stitches are all the same color here, you might want to put a stitch marker in so that you have a lot of visual clues of when you're at the end of your row and it's time to join those side stitches. And you'll just keep working this way, working back and forth, joining to the left back on your right side row and joining to your left front on your wrong side row until you get all the way to your sleeve edge. And then we will work on sleeves next week. If you have any questions on this, feel free to post them in the class platform, and Bristol or I will get back to you, and hopefully you will enjoy knitting these shoulder saddles.